What's going on, fight fans? Jake Lippman here with Combat Sports Today, and today's guest is none other than the CFFC welterweight champion, Blayne Young Gun Richards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so let's even go back before the last time we spoke. The first time we met was when this first matchup happened way back in, 2022, 2023, and we already know how that one went. So now that we're going into a rematch, you're defending your belt for the first time. Talk me through how you feeling heading into this fight.
Good, dude. Honestly, I've been so busy busting my ass for this camp. Today's my first day that I got to mow my lawn. That was a big deal for me. I've been so busy running around trying to get everything finished up, tightened up, and be ready for this, that today I actually had a little bit of time to mow my lawn. So that was a big deal for me, actually. But yeah, I'm ready.
And that's important. You're getting the little things, the productive things in your life taken care of, so they're off your shoulders, off your plate. And I did have to fact check myself. First matchup, April 1st, 2023. So 2 years later, we're ready for the rematch. Obviously, you've won a couple fights. We're on a 7-fight winning streak. And then we're talking about Eric Nolan. He's 4-1 since you guys last fought. So just talk to me a little bit about how you've evolved ever since that first fight.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, whenever I fought Eric the first time, it wasn't a layoff that I was trying to do myself, but it was a layoff that would happen because obviously we were coming out of the pandemic and everything like that. So I had a bunch of fights fall through. The reason I even got the Eric fight in the first place is because a week before that, a fight fell through, or 2 weeks before that. So we put it out there that I needed a fight, and then his opponent actually backed out. So then CFFC was like, hey, let's just go ahead and line this up. So I was coming off of a layoff. Like, I hadn't even fought for a year the first time I fought him. So now I've been more consistent, and I've got even more of I had something rolling before, but now I've been more consistent, and I feel like I'm rolling downhill at this point.
Oh, yeah, and the momentum is clear. The finishes are coming in bunches, and you've been traveling all around the world of late. It seems like you're really taking all these opportunities in stride. Tell me a little bit about some of your journeys that you've been taking of late. I know you've been posting it on your social media, so tell the people about some of the cool things you've been doing since you've become the champ.
Yeah, absolutely. Blayne Richards 170. Check it out there so you can see for yourself. But no, just my momentum is carried obviously into the team's momentum. I think that's huge. When one person is stepping up in your team, your whole team's going to step up. So like specifically after my fights and stuff like that, I was asked to go out and work with Jamal Hill for his team camp for his Europe Prohaska fight. So I was out in Vegas a lot for that. Went out to LA for that. Then rolling back into my big bro Anthony, he had a couple fights coming up, so I've been working a lot with Anthony. We're out in Denver and stuff. And then my best friend Carlos Trinidad Snakes, the -- bare knuckle boxer in the world. So we flew out to Dubai. We took and fought the best boxer in the world in BKFC, Austin Trout. We took it to 6 rounds. It's only happened 3 times in BKFC history that they've even gone to that. My money says that Carlos won that, but it is what it is. But yeah, with that, I've been putting in time all over the place. I've gotten a bunch of different views of different sparring partners and everything like that as well too. Even whenever I was out in Dubai, I worked with a bunch of people, like a bunch of Russians and things like that. So I've mixed it up a bunch here as of recently on the different looks that I've been able to see. But yeah, I've been all over the place. The fight game is real for me. This is basically my life. So yeah, it's taking me all over the place right now.
And that's so cool. I mean, I was looking at your videos in Dubai. I was like, wow, that place is cool. I mean,
yeah. Most luxurious place you'll ever go for sure. They got it handled. They got a lock on it.
I'm sure. And they keep investing more and more money, and they're trying to get tourists in. So I'm sure we'll see more and more opportunities, more and more combat sports as well going there. So that's going to be really cool to see.
Yeah. BKFC partnered with World League of Fighting, and I think World League of Fighting is going to try to transition into some MMA stuff as well too. So like UFC basically has a lockdown on like Abu Dhabi and things like that, but I think Dubai wants to bring some of that stuff their way as well too. So there's some hands in the pot trying to mix some stuff up, and hopefully we can get out there too with some MMA fights.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And especially if you can keep traveling out there, I'm sure that'll be the best part of it all.
Yeah, the traveling's not the best part, but actually whenever you get there and stuff's cool. The flight sucks.
How long is it?
16 hours.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. 14 on the way out there and 16 on the way back. My wife actually went out like a week after me, and then she left the day before me. And on their flight, they had more of a full flight, so they had to sit in their single chair the whole way, raw dogged it. Versus there's a few people that weren't on my flight and stuff, so we got to split up and have a whole row to ourselves where we got to lay down. I don't know if I could have handled just sitting in one chair the whole time.
No, I know for a fact that I can't. A 2-hour flight's a long flight for me, let alone 14 or 16 hours. That's crazy. Yeah. The experience, I'm sure, is worth it at the end of the day, and I'm sure you're basking in every opportunity that you've been getting. Now that we're defending your belt, I mean, you're coming off a big win off Raheem Forrest, a guy that went to the Dana White Contender Series. He did lose in his opportunity, but a guy that's already kind of achieved those heights right on the doorstep of the UFC. Now you're getting a big opportunity to defend your belt. I mean, what opportunities do we see are coming for you in the future?
Honestly, it's not something that I'm looking for, like the opportunity. Like, obviously, I know where I stand at. I know I'm on the radar for some big promotions and things like that, but I'm solely focused on May 24th, Atlantic City. I have to do what I came here, what I set out to do. I have to defend my belt. I have to do it in style. So F everything else out there. I don't really care about any of that stuff. The opportunities will come with wins and doing cool shit. So I go in there, I put on a show. I finish Eric Nolan. The rest is history. The opportunities will create themselves that way. But I know if I don't go out there and do that, there is no opportunity. So I don't care anything else after May 24th. May 24th is the date. That's where I'm going to show up, and do what I do. Create chaos.
And the world's ready to see it. I mean, I think anybody that's watched the Blayne Richards fight knows it's fun from start to finish. You definitely don't ever ease off the gas pedal. And I think that's the most fun part of your fighting style. I think when we look at your matchup with Eric Nolan, you kind of already know what to expect, as you've kind of already been in his backyard once. But talk to me about how you're going to go into enemy territory, even though it's your belt and you'll be defending. How does that kind of affect your mindset and your approach?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, on paper, I don't know if the CFFC actually even likes me or whatever. Like, this is something that it seems like it's becoming a recurring thing. I fight him on a short notice in his backyard the first time. Philadelphia is just a short train ride. Like, all my friends and family that are coming out to this fight have to fly to Philly anyways and then hop on a train to get to New Jersey. So it was basically in his backyard that time anyways. I turned around, I fought Hugh Pulley in Tampa, Florida. Like, pissed all those people off. They were throwing shit in the cage and everything like that. Like, so I did that. I took the short notice fight against Raheem Forrest on 12 days notice. Like, that should have been my fight in the first place. That it shouldn't have been a 12-day notice, short notice situation. I should have been the guy on the top of the ballot in the first place. I've done everything that I needed to up until this point. So at this point, like, I've been saying it for a while. Everybody wants to be loved. It takes a special person to be hated. And I'm coming to New Jersey to be the most hated person in that arena. Like, I don't care if it's his hometown. I don't give a shit. That my whole thing is that from day one with CFFC, I've been up against the ropes. So just another day in the life of Blayne Richards.
And I mean, you're sure putting those stripes on your resume one after another. I mean, and for anybody that's watching this interview right now that hasn't seen a Hugh Pulley fight in Tampa or Eric Nolan fight in Philly, I mean, they bring a crowd. They sell a lot of tickets, and you see a lot of T-shirts out there. So it's no small feat to go in to do it once, and now you're going in to do it twice. So I'm sure everybody's looking forward to it, because I think at the end of the day, we've seen it once. We know it's going to be a fun matchup. So I think everybody's ready to go see it again. So call your shot. How do we think that this one's going to go?
Dude, I know he's gonna bring it. Honestly, I do think that Eric is a game opponent. I saw that the first time. Anybody else that got cracked like him would have folded, I believe, right off the bat. Like we saw his face, you know. So I think Eric's gonna bring it. I know that he's been out there doing his thing and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm gonna go out there and create chaos. And I think when the building's on fire, that's where I live the best, you know. So like I'm okay with that. We'll see who lives the best in the firefight. I do think that he's gonna bring as much as he can. He's gonna be pissed off. I messed up his face, you know. So like that, like he's gonna be pissed off and he's gonna come at me full bore. So I know that I'm ready for whatever it needs to be. If it needs to go all, it's supposed to be a 4-round fight. 5 if it's tied or whatever after 4. I'm down to go 5. I don't really care if we want to turn it into a war and both of us got cuts on our face and everything like that. I'm down. Like that's what I want. I want a dog fight. But if it comes out of there that I'm too quick, too slick, too good for him, I'll wrap him up and finish it early. I'm okay with that. But no matter what, I'm coming out there as the victor. David Goggins style. I'm burning the boats. There's only one way to come back to Nebraska, and that's with everything he thinks he wants.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, it's all about retaining the strap and keeping the gold.
Yeah. Like I said, if I don't have that, nothing matters anyway. So like, that's the only option for me.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's not a flight to Abu Dhabi, but it's not an easy flight for you to get all the way over to the East Coast. You're changing time zones. So I'm sure it's going to be an adventure in and of itself, and another chapter in the book of Blayne Richards. So I'm sure you're really, really excited for that fight. There's a lot of things that I think we could get into the fight, but I think there's other things that we can talk about. And first and foremost, UFC 315, headlined by a fight. The title fight in your very own weight class, of course. I'm wearing the Canada hockey jersey. Obviously, I'm not Canadian, but I felt like it was on theme and I had it. So why not whip it out of the closet? Talk to me about the welterweight title fight. What did you see in that title fight, and kind of just break it down? JDM's the new champ, and Bilal took a back seat. How do you feel now?
Dude, that was a banger. It was hard. Like, I don't know what Bilal's game plan was from the start and everything. I think he believes in these Canelo hands that he has and everything like that. But it was a situation of where JDM would get off 2-3 shots, and then it would be one crackback for Bilal. So like he's down on the scorecards whenever you're going points wise like that. And then he didn't start to wrestle until the end of round 3, 4, and 5. And then you got to give it to Jack. That guy, like, no one thinks of him as a wrestler or anything like that, but him getting on, he was flat on his back multiple times, and that equals disaster pretty much for anybody outside of like the top 10. When you get them flat on their back and things like that, you're pretty much got them pinned. You're not going anywhere. But he was able to catch his breath. I don't know how he catches his breath through that nose or whatever, but he makes it work. And yeah, he scrambled back to his feet right where his wheelhouse was, and then put it on. And like I said, it was a situation where he was putting combos together. He was getting cracked back. He wasn't like moving his feet at the end of the combinations, I think, as much as he should have, because it allowed Bilal to get back off some shots. But like, that was a dog fight for sure. That was crazy. I was watching I had a wedding yesterday, and so like after the wedding, we went out, and the wedding party wanted to go to the bar and stuff like that. So I'm sitting at the bar, watching it on my phone, freaking out and stuff. Everyone is like looking at me like I'm the weirdo and stuff. So, yeah, it was that was a dog fight for sure. Bilal's face, I've seen the pictures and everything like that. That's crazy to go ahead and have your nose broken and orbital and things like that. I didn't even technically think he got wobbled. Like,
Yeah,
he ate that shit like it was breakfast.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. That was crazy. So both of them had some interesting stylistic things that they did that no one thought that they could necessarily do. Like JDM getting up off of his back out of nowhere and getting back to his feet. And then Bilal, like I said, he was returning a lot of those shots. But I think he could have wrestled more. Or like,
100%.
Or like I have a different style of grappling than obviously Bilal does. Bilal does a lot of just takedowns, but like he's not wrapping up anybody's like back or anything like that. And I think that that's kind of a disadvantage to him. Like if you're going to be able to take somebody down, why aren't you on somebody's back? Why aren't you on somebody's neck? Or like whenever he takes them down, he's not transitioning even to like a front headlock position to try to go for some type of submission situation. Like he's there just to hang on you and wear you down. But Jack was ready. He didn't get tired at all.
Yeah, and I know you have a pretty good wrestling background, so I want to ask you a question specifically about the wrestling. And I think it's one thing that's getting talked about a lot is how Jack kind of eliminated his ability to wrestle. I think some people are debating whether Bilal was told to strike or whether Bilal really wanted to show off his Canelo hands. But I think one thing that people are going kind of unnoticed in this fight is how JDM was really using his hands, keeping the high guard and ducking and going down and dropping his center of gravity to kind of avoid the wrestling. Can you kind of talk to me about kind of how that defensive grappling kind of works from JDM's point of view when you know Bilal's coming forward and shooting the takedowns?
Yeah, and like that speaks to a situation of where Bilal's not like trying to go. Like he wants the takedown, and he's not going for like the wall work takedown, I think, which was a big deal. Which like you need to be transitioning to a little bit different of like body locks and stuff like that and working some trips. He wants to like elevate off of a single leg or get a double leg and stuff like that. I think that that's kind of the difference. Whenever JDM was able to work some underhooks and things like that, that kept him out of the danger zone of getting his legs attacked and stuff. But I think that just goes to show like the type of wrestling that Bilal wanted to do, which would be more of like an open mat kind of wrestling style versus like an MMA grappling style up against the fence. Like you run out of room in a cage, everything goes up against the fence. I think that's a whole different type of takedown style that you got to work, and he wasn't transitioning to that type of style, I guess.
Absolutely. And I think as you watch it go on for 5 rounds, Bilal starts having more success at the end of the fight. But, I mean, JDM was still one step ahead. As you mentioned, he kept bouncing right back up. So I think it's justified. I think there's no real debate, no robbery cries in this fight. I think there's a real true new champion, and now the division's left with a real curious state. So I'd just be curious if you'd be willing to share your thoughts with a number of prospects. You got Shavkat, you've got Joaquin Buckley, Sean Brady, you got all these guys on, Ian Gary. What do you think's next for the top end of that division that of course you're hoping to climb the ladder to soon?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like they're going to go Islam. I mean, I feel like he's going to get to kind of call his shot at this point. He's done enough to where he's fought the who's who. He ran through the division as far as getting up to where he needed to be, fighting like to the top 10, to the top 5, up to where he's at. And then he went back and forth with fighting the number 1 contender, or like the number 1 pound for pound being Alex and stuff like that. And then I think that they're over trying to give a 45er a shot at the 55 title against him. Like, I'm not saying the UFC. Obviously, the UFC believes a lot in Topuria and thinks that he's very marketable. The dude's loved in Spain and everything like that. So that's easy for them. But I think as far as like Khabib's team, and which obviously transitions to Islam, I think that they're over giving the 45ers the shot, and they want to do something different and try to go and do the 170 option. I've seen Islam like in person. I mean, I can see how he makes 55. I mean, I feel like if somebody gave me enough money and a right nutritionist, I could make 55. So, but I think like a height difference and stuff like that might be the biggest portion of going to 70. But yeah, like I think at this point he gets to kind of call his shots. Like if you guys are letting a 45er, multiple 45ers come up and get that title shot at 55, what stops him from going to 70 and doing it?
Right. And I think when you look at it from Islam's perspective, he wants to create history, build his legacy. And I think at the end of the day, the opportunity for him to go up is probably too big and too lucrative for him to pass up. So I totally understand it. And so just hear me out on this. This is what I think happens next, because I think you're right. I think Islam and Bilal is next. I think after that, we should see Sean Brady versus Shavkat. I think we need to see Ian Gary versus Joaquin Buckley. And then you have Bilal Muhammad fight Kamaru Usman. And that's pending nobody getting seriously hurt in the Buckley-Usman fight. But a lot of big fights in that division, including this upcoming week's main event in Michael Morales and Gilbert Burns. So a lot going on in the welterweight division. I know we diverted off into the UFC conversation, but
yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for, and I think it would be a lot of really fun fights in what's really one of the most fun divisions in all of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like the fight this weekend determined a lot of that as far as what was going to happen in the 55. Like if you're saying we're diverting off into the UFC, yeah, then you can talk about does that mean that they're going to do Charles versus Topuria and stuff like that as well too. But yeah, like you said, a lot of that does make sense. The Shavkat and Brady fight, that's obviously a really great matchup and stuff like that. I think Brady deserves it after what he did in his last fight against Edwards. I don't know I don't think it's a thing of if he doesn't want to fight him. I just don't see him wanting to give him any clout as far as Ian Gary fighting Buckley. That's not the way I would go about it, but to each their own. So I could definitely see that going on. But again, you're going to see him versus Usman here shortly, and we'll see how that works out. That'll shake things up as well too. So yeah, like you said, it could be Usman versus Giri, which would be kind of cool as well too. So you're calling that on if Buckley wins. If Usman's actually fully healthy and can be the gamer that we've seen him be and stuff like that, we might not get to see that. But I think that Usman and Giri would be a fun fight too, especially since we saw some terrible shots at the end of the last fight and stuff like that. I think Usman has a little bit better grappling than Prates. So there might have been a little bit of a different story there at the end of that. So I guess we'll see in the next couple of weeks whenever these fights shake out.
Absolutely. And it's going to be just one fight after another, just leading us to more great matchups in the division. I think that's the most fun part of it all. I do want to divert back to you, of course. You are the man of the hour, and you're wearing a shirt that says "Fighting solves everything." And before I ask my question, I want to preface this with as you're one of the nicest, kindest people I've met until you get into the fighting mode. So talk to me about the mindset, how you kind of flip it on and just get ready to kill, because I know that's not easy for everyone.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't need to sit here and talk shit to anybody or anything like that. I'm on a 7-fight win streak. I'm the champion at this point. They got to come to my front doorstep at this point. People sometimes have to talk shit to get to where I'm at, and I've just done the hard work and won. So yeah, fighting for me does solve everything. As far as flipping the switch, whenever I get there, I think that's pretty easy for me. I have a weird thing of I get nervous because I'm not nervous, or I get scared that I'm not scared because I don't know. I feel like I should be there. This is what I chose. This is the path that I chose. So I know that at the end of the day, I'm nervous on Monday of fight week, but by the time that Friday, Saturday gets here, let's go. I'm the most calm then than anything. So, I mean, it's not necessarily I'm excited that I have to get jacked to be in there. That's just my technique and stuff in the cage. I just think that I'm that good at creating chaos, and that if it comes down to a scramble situation, 99.9% of the time I'm winning that scramble situation. Whether that was my wrestling career or whether that's my fighting career, that's just how I've been. So it might look like that I'm in this crazy rage mode or something like that, but no, I just truly believe that I'm so good in chaos that no one can stop that, and I live in that movement. like Bane said, I was born in the darkness. So Like, people have to adapt to that. I was born in this. Let's go. So it's not like I have to get into some rage or anything like that. I'm cool, calm, and collected in there, and I just create such a hectic environment that most people can't stand it.
All right, so answer this for me. If you weren't an MMA fighter, MMA didn't exist, what would you do?
Whenever I was in high school, I wrote into what would your job be and stuff like that, and I did like a presentation on the stuntman. So like, I would like to be a movie stuntman, probably. I think that'd be dope. I don't even need to be
That'd
like
be
on camera or
awesome.
anything like that. I just want to get paid to do the cool shit.
Just be the guy that falls.
Yeah. Like, I mean, not even that. You see, like, Tom Cruise out here gets to jump a dirt bike off some crazy mountainside or some shit like that. Like, that would be cool for me. Like, you guys pay me to do that, I would do that for free. So if you want to give me money to do it, like, that even better.
And I asked that question because when you were saying that, I was like, this guy sounds like he would be like a really good firefighter. Like,
okay, yeah. I mean, that would be cool. Like, saving people and stuff like that. I could definitely see that.
Running into
I can see that.
building. Yeah, I could see that. I could see it. But luckily, we have MMA here, and clearly the championship belt proves that everything that we're doing here in MMA is justified, and it is the right path because you are, like you said, it's your nature. But I want to talk real quick about the people that help bring it out in you. Talk to me about your camp and how everybody at Skywalker 101, how they kind of play a factor in your camp, your mentality, and your style.
Yeah, comes down to obviously like my coaches. I mean, I've been with Danny Molina since day one. He has the very first video of me ever shadow boxing at the gym. In November of last year, we obviously lost one of my best friends, my mentors, and someone I really look up to as far as Scott Morton, my jiu-jitsu coach. So you'll see everywhere on that for Scotty that we've been posting and stuff like that. So the create chaos thing came from him. Honestly, like that's just always what he's told me to do before fights and stuff. So I've just kept that mantra alive. And I will forever try to keep that mantra alive, whether it's in fighting or anything like that. Like it doesn't have to be like some destructive chaos or anything like that, but like just your day-to-day life is chaos, and like just regular shit can be chaos. And like as long as you're creating it and you're the one that's like harnessing it, then you can make anything happen. So yeah, those two guys are obviously like the biggest parts in my fight career. With that, we're transitioning some things and switching some stuff up too. I'm gonna have Anthony come out for my fight. Anthony Smith's gonna be my corner and stuff too. He's always been like a pivotal point in my fighting as well too. I always turn to him for advice, whether it's fighting, life. He's done it all as far as like come from nothing to something for sure. So if I can get advice from him and just learn a quarter of what he's going through and stuff like that, I think I'll be all right. He's obviously done it the right way. We saw after his retirement, like it's crazy. Andrew Arlovsky was in the UFC for 20 years. He was the UFC champion for the longest time. He was like the scariest dude ever. He was the boogeyman for the longest time and stuff like that. And after he lost, they were just like, all right, man, peace out. You know, when Anthony lost in Kansas City, like, yes, he lost, but like you saw how much respect that they gave to him. They like rolled out the red carpet for him and stuff like that. So obviously he's doing the right thing. So I look to him in that way. And then as far as my teammates, I'm surrounded by a bunch of dogs. Like, honestly, like I truly believe, like I said, my best friend, Carlos Trinidad Snake, is one of the best bare knuckle boxers in the world. But like, he's like wondering, like he wants to do an MMA fight. He's actually 2-0 in MMA. But he transitioned over to BKFC because they were coming to Omaha, and he was like, yo, I think I can do this. I'm down to throw hands in the first place and things like that. So like he had an MMA career. He had, I think, 25 amateur fights, and then he was 2-0 as a pro. But like then he kind of skyrocketed on the BKFC scene. So like it's hard for him to turn around and go back to doing MMA. Like, what are you gonna do? Give him 1,000 to come show up and do these fights? Like, versus he's making world title championship money. Like, so, but like that's his first love. He wants to come back and do that. So like he doesn't, just because he's doing BKFC doesn't mean that he's done it. Like we train MMA every day. Even whenever he was fighting, we were throwing shin pads on. We were going to war, you know? So like I'm surrounded by a bunch of dogs in my gym though, specifically. Like it's not just Carlos. I have my Russian brother Haji. He was over here for a long time. Then we got some really good guys coming up. Is Imaya. You saw him out in Philadelphia. He won the amateur 85 title. He's actually a 70er. He won the 85 title on a week's notice. I got Gabe Trinidad Snake. He's crazy good on the mat and stuff like that. I got a bunch of high level jiu-jitsu players out in Omaha. John Hansen's in the top 10 jiu-jitsu players in the world right now and stuff like that. And we roll with him like on every Sunday and stuff. So I'm surrounded by actually a really good core group of people. But then also you've seen the traveling that I do. I get it working everywhere I go. I go to Denver. I go to the East Coast and stuff like that if I need to. I got work with all the Russians out in Dubai and stuff. I say Russians, but they were all over the place and stuff. It's just easier to say the Russians. But yeah, like they took me in and they let me train there and they gave me all kinds of great work and stuff. So whether I'm out in Denver, I work out at Factory X, but then I'm out there with like Chris Camozzi, who's the BKFC world champion right now. So like all these guys support me and they know where I'm at and they know where I'm at in my career and where I should be. So they basically are just anybody that I work with is ride or die for Young Guns. So they take care of me and they know it's about to happen.
I just want to know if you got any kind of untold stories about Anthony Smith here that the folks would like to hear.
Like nothing crazy. I mean, like honestly, Anthony like handles himself so highly and like professionally wise. It's like it's hard to say like untold stories or anything like that. But it's more of like the stuff that like people don't like. Like people can hate all they want on like career stats and stuff like that, but like people don't know what's going on in the background. Like the losses that he's had like in his personal life, not even like in the MMA fights, like personal losses like of like family members and best friends and stuff, and crazy shit happening at his house. He have tweakers break into his house and like mess like getting in these like crazy fights with them and stuff like that, and still fighting the next week or fighting the 2 weeks after. Like it just shows the type of dog that he is. And not once has he ever said like, hey guys, like cut me some slack. These things are happening in my personal life or anything like that. Like even the John Jones fight, like Anthony could have been easily a world title champion just by saying like, no, this guy need me in the face while I'm down. So like, I don't have any like untold stories or anything like that. He has his own podcast where he has like he had to wear like this Eagles outfit and shit like that after the Chiefs lost. Like he pretty much wears everything on his chest and on his sleeve anyways. So like if there's anything that he wants to put out there, it's already out there. It's not something I have like any crazy stories about. But like just the type of person he is, that like he's not out here like wanting any like sympathy for anything like that. He's just trying to get work done. So like that's what I'm trying to do as well. I'm trying to be half that. So
yeah. It sounds like it's the lessons more than anything that you take from the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think having someone like Lionheart and all the other people in your corner, it only is going to help you elevate your game, keep moving forward. I know I'm looking forward to your fight here May 24th at the Atlantic City Hard Rock in the co-main event at Cage Fury Fighting Championships, defending your belt. Blayne, thank you so much for spending some time with us here this evening. Is there anything you'd like to tell the people before we go?
No, y'all know what it is. And still, I promise you that. Like, that's what I do. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fucking put on a show for you guys. And May 24th, Atlantic City, Blayne Richards, young gun, still is the champion, 100%.